Welcome, beautiful Sigma ladies. Some women walk into a room and change the temperature, not because they want attention, but because they are the weather system. Let that settle. In a world obsessed with algorithms, filters, and who's trending by lunchtime, there's a rare breed of woman who couldn't care less if she's noticed, because she's busy building something that will never need to beg for attention. They don't crave applause. They don't chase spotlights. They don't rehearse charm in the mirror. They are the Sigma females, the architects of legacy. While the masses are hooked on going viral, Sigma females are focused on becoming unforgettable in ways that no hashtag could ever capture. Here's a fact. A recent behavioral analysis showed that people with the strongest long-term influence often go completely unnoticed for the first 5 to 10 years of their mission. Translation: legacy isn't loud, it's surgical. Sigma females are not allergic to attention. They're just immune to its addiction. They'd rather build a dynasty in silence than collect applause in echo chambers. So buckle up. This isn't another girl boss fairy tale or how to stand out in the crowd fluff. This is the truth about why Sigma females were never designed to be popular. They were engineered for something far more dangerous: permanence. And if you're still thinking they're just introverts with style, oh, you're not even ready. Let's get into it. Number 1. They can love without needing to be seen. They can love without needing to be seen. That's what separates a Sigma female from the crowd. Most people don't realize it, but in today's world, a lot of affection is performance. People show love for the camera, the audience, the applause. They want to be noticed being kind, appreciated for being giving, and validated for being loyal. But a Sigma female doesn't need a stage to express love. Her affection is real, raw, and often invisible to anyone who isn't on the receiving end of it. She doesn't parade her emotions because they're not for display. When she cares about someone, it's not to boost her image or earn points. She doesn't drop cryptic quotes on social media when she's in love. She just loves, deeply, quietly, and with more intensity than people are used to. And that throws a lot of people off. They confuse loud affection with depth. But the Sigma female doesn't operate on volume. She operates on substance. What's rare about her is that she doesn't love to be loved back. She gives fully, but never needs a spotlight on it. She can support you without announcing it. She can protect you without asking for credit. And if you fall, she'll pick you up without making it part of her brand. This kind of love makes people uncomfortable because it can't be manipulated. You can't guilt trip her. You can't gaslight her into chasing. If she walks away, it's not out of pride. It's because her love was already real, and you proved it couldn't be received. She doesn't love to be seen. She loves because it's her nature, and that makes her rare. It also makes her dangerous to people who are used to controlling affection with attention. She won't beg. She won't chase. But if you've ever been loved by a Sigma female, you'll know, even in her silence, you were never invisible. Number 2. They play the long game, even if it looks like losing at first. Sigma females play the long game like it's an art form, and they don't flinch when it means looking like they're losing in the short term. While most people panic if they're not constantly seen succeeding, Sigma females stay calm in the quiet seasons. They're not obsessed with appearances. They know that true moves are often made in silence, and real power is never rushed. To outsiders, it might look like they're falling behind. No flashy milestones, no public wins, no highlight reels. But what people don't see is the strategy, the studying, the recalibrating, the groundwork. While others chase instant results and dopamine hits from short-term praise, Sigma females are laying bricks for a future that doesn't need to be explained, only revealed. This is the kind of woman who can be underestimated for years, and it won't bother her one bit. She's not in it for the recognition. She's in it for the outcome. If being misunderstood buys her time to work undisturbed, she welcomes it. If being called quiet or not doing enough keeps expectations low while she's planning something massive, even better. She knows that short-term optics are often just illusions, and she's allergic to illusions. While others are sprinting in circles to impress, she's moving slowly, intentionally, like someone who knows exactly where she's going. That's what makes her dangerous. She doesn't need to win every moment. She only needs to win the right ones. And when her moment comes, it's not a surprise, it's a shift. One that no one saw coming because they were too busy watching the noise. But the Sigma female was never playing for the crowd. She was designing an empire beneath the surface. And by the time people realize she wasn't losing, it's already too late to catch up. Number 3. They refuse to be defined by any circle, even the elite ones. Sigma females have no interest in shrinking themselves to fit into any circle, not even the exclusive, high-status ones that most people would kill to enter. In fact, the more elite the group, the more pressure there is to conform, to play by the silent rules, to trade authenticity for access. And that's where a Sigma female draws the line. She doesn't care how prestigious the circle is. If it requires her to compromise who she is, she'll walk away without blinking. It's not rebellion for attention. It's integrity for survival. She knows that every group, no matter how impressive it looks from the outside, comes with invisible contracts. You can sit at the table, sure, but only if you don't rock the boat, only if you don't speak too freely, only if you keep your ambition in a tone that doesn't threaten the hierarchy. That doesn't work for a Sigma female. She's not built to bow, she's built to build. And if the cost of inclusion is dilution, she's not buying. Even in rooms where she could benefit, wealth, opportunity, powerful connections, she stays immune to the intoxication of belonging, because deep down she knows most circles are cages in disguise. The moment you trade your voice to stay in the room, you've already given up the most valuable thing you have, your sovereignty. And that's what the Sigma female guards like gold. Not her image, not her alliances, but her self-command. She doesn't need to be part of the tribe to feel valid. She's not interested in blending in. She's too focused on breaking through. And if that means being alone while everyone else sits comfortably in curated conformity, she'll take that trade every time. Because while others are busy trying to belong, the Sigma female is becoming someone no one can ignore, even if she's not invited. Number 4. They are anti-trend, pro-timeline. Sigma females couldn't care less about what's trending, and that's exactly what makes them timeless. While the world scrambles to keep up with what's hot, what's viral, what's being talked about this week, Sigma females are quietly investing their energy into what will still matter 10 years from now. They don't design their lives, businesses, or decisions based on hype. They build based on longevity. Trends are noise to them. Loud, fleeting, attention-hungry noise. And chasing trends? That's a trap for people who need constant validation. Sigma females are playing a completely different game. One that requires discipline, foresight, and a complete rejection of the temporary. While others are consumed with what's in, the Sigma female is focused on what will endure. She doesn't rush to adapt just because everyone else is. If a new social norm, aesthetic, or mindset pops up and starts dominating the spotlight, she observes it, analyzes it, and then, most of the time, walks right past it. Not because she's stubborn, but because she's strategic. Adapting to every new wave dilutes vision. She'd rather be late to something lasting than first to something forgettable. This is a woman who thinks in decades, not days. She knows trends don't build legacy. Consistency does. While others burn out from trying to stay relevant, she stays focused on her trajectory, not her visibility. She's not trying to win the moment. She's trying to build something that will still win when the moment is gone. And here's the irony. The very things she builds quietly and independently, without ever chasing the spotlight, often end up becoming the new standard. Not because she followed the trend, but because she outlasted it. In a world speeding toward short-term gratification, Sigma females are rare. They slow down, zoom out, and play for forever. Number 5, they don't pivot for optics. They evolve in the dark. Sigma females don't believe in performative transformation. They don't announce a new era of themselves every few months just to stay relevant. Reinvention to them is sacred, not spectacle. While the world treats growth like a public campaign, Sigma females treat it like private evolution. No declarations, no aesthetic overhauls, no dramatic captions, just silent, surgical change behind the scenes. They don't pivot for optics. They evolve because it's time, quietly, strategically, almost untraceably. By the time anyone realizes they've changed, it's too late. She's already miles ahead, operating on a level that no longer speaks the language of her former self. That's what unnerves people about Sigma females. There's no warning. One minute she's in the background, unbothered and unassuming. The next, she reappears, refined, powerful, and somehow unrecognizably elevated. And no one saw it coming, because she didn't need an audience to validate the process. There's no room for vanity in her evolution. She doesn't post her progress. She doesn't seek claps for working on herself. She just does the work, in silence, with intensity, and often through discomfort no one else would willingly choose. Because she's not evolving to impress, she's evolving to become unshakable. Most people change for applause. Sigma females change for alignment. They don't need the makeover montage, the motivational speech, or the before and after narrative. Growth isn't content, it's currency. And she spends it wisely, not publicly. So while others reinvent themselves in real time for social media approval, Sigma females mutate in the dark, far from the noise, far from the eyes, and far from the pressure to look like they're improving. And when they resurface, they don't ask to be noticed. They force the world to catch up, because the version that returns isn't improved. She's upgraded and no longer reachable by the standards she left behind. Number 6. They're not interested in being remembered. They're interested in being unforgettable. Sigma females don't care about being remembered in the way most people do. They're not interested in leaving behind a trail of carefully curated memories or sweet nostalgia. They're not here to be liked, quoted, or thanked in tribute posts. What they aim for is far more permanent, to leave a mark so deep, so disruptive, so undeniably real that forgetting them isn't even an option. Being remembered is passive. It relies on others to look back, to recall fondly, to feel something soft. That's the language of popularity, of those who made people feel good, entertained, or impressed for a season. But Sigma females don't operate in seasons. They move in eras, and when one ends, the world feels the shift, whether it's ready or not. They don't enter spaces to be recognized. They enter to rearrange the furniture of power, thought, or structure. And once they've moved through, things don't go back to how they were. They don't leave footprints. They leave imprints, the kind that change how people operate long after the Sigma is gone. She's not chasing legacy through sentimentality. She's crafting it through disruption, through truth that stings, choices that shift dynamics, and influence that moves silently but shakes loudly. If she taught you, it rewired you. If she challenged you, it dismantled something you thought was untouchable. And if she loved you, it carved a hole nothing else quite fits. The Sigma female doesn't want to be a sweet memory. She wants to be a force you measure things by, before her, after her. Because she didn't just pass through. She altered things, systems, people, mindsets. You don't look back at her. You look around and still see the echo of what she changed. And that's the truth. Being remembered fades. Being unforgettable haunts the structure. Number 7. They seek irreversible impact, not fleeting validation. Sigma females aren't here to be seen for a moment. They're here to build things that cannot be undone. While the world is obsessed with quick wins, viral attention, and the constant need to be noticed, Sigma females are quietly focused on something far more permanent. Irreversible impact. They're not playing for likes, applause, or trending moments. Those things are cheap, addictive, and most of all, forgettable. Sigma females understand that visibility without substance is just noise, so they don't waste their energy trying to impress the present. They're too busy designing things that will outlive the moment. Everything they do is intentional. Conversations, moves, even the way they exit a space. It's all laced with weight. When they show up, it's not to charm, it's to shift something. And when they leave, people don't just miss them. They operate differently because of them. This kind of woman isn't about decoration. She's about structure. She thinks like a builder, not a performer. Her influence isn't loud, but it's permanent. She doesn't just plant ideas. She buries foundations. She doesn't just motivate. She reroutes trajectories. She doesn't just impress. She transforms. There's a reason Sigma females are hard to forget, even if they're not always visible. It's because their energy sticks. Not because it was loud, but because it was architectural. Like a building you didn't notice going up until one day you realize it's part of the skyline. They aren't playing for the dopamine hit of being liked. They're after the kind of impact that alters environments, shifts dynamics, and redefines the standard, even if their name isn't attached to it. Validation asks for applause. Sigma females build things that make people question everything they thought they knew. And that doesn't fade. It becomes the foundation someone else builds on and never dares to erase. Number 8. They can endure being misunderstood for years. Sigma females are built to be misunderstood, and they don't just tolerate it, they expect it. In a world obsessed with instant clarity and emotional validation, most people bend themselves to be understood, to be accepted, to be liked. But Sigma females aren't wired for that kind of short-term comfort. They know that being fully seen often requires shrinking, and that's something they'll never do. They're not afraid to be called cold, distant, too intense, or hard to read. In fact, they know that these labels usually come from people trying to force them into neat little boxes. But Sigma females don't fit. They're not here to be predictable or palatable. They're here to build, and real builders don't stop every 5 steps to explain themselves. This makes them an enigma to most people. Their moves seem confusing. Their silence gets misinterpreted. Their confidence gets mistaken for arrogance. But none of that shakes them, because their identity isn't dependent on being immediately understood. They're not performing for connection. They're executing a vision that most people simply aren't meant to get yet. While others panic when they're misread, Sigma females remain unbothered, because they're focused on the long arc. They understand that true alignment takes time, and that clarity often comes in hindsight. Years later, the same people who doubted them suddenly start to get it. Suddenly the dots connect. Suddenly their silence makes sense, their decisions look genius, and their vision becomes obvious. But by then, the Sigma female has already evolved again. That's the quiet brilliance of her path. She doesn't need to be clapped for in real time. She's okay with being the misunderstood one, the underestimated one, even the weird one, as long as it means she stays true to what she knows is right. Because while others are sacrificing their essence to be immediately liked, Sigma females are planting roots so deep that when the world finally catches up, they won't just be understood, they'll be undeniable. Number 9. They don't enter rooms to be liked. They enter to restructure power dynamics. Sigma females don't walk into a room hoping to be liked. That's not their goal. While most people are busy scanning faces for approval, fishing for smiles or nods to feel included, Sigma females are silently analyzing the entire power ecosystem in the room. They're reading unspoken hierarchies, subtle alliances, and the invisible currents that really run things, and they're already planning how to shift it. They don't come to play by the rules or fit into the existing framework. They come to reshape it. Their presence is not about blending in or winning popularity contests. It's about bending the structure to their advantage, subtly and strategically. They understand power as fluid, not fixed, and they move with the patience and precision of someone who knows every piece can be moved. This means they're often underestimated at first, because unlike the loud, aggressive personalities who try to dominate with noise and charisma, Sigma females operate through observation and calculated influence. They don't raise their voice to command attention. They lower it, and in that quiet, they dismantle and rebuild without anyone realizing it's happening, until the room feels different, even if no one can pinpoint why. They don't need to be liked to be effective. In fact, being universally liked would often mean sacrificing their goals or diluting their influence. Instead, they're okay with being the uncomfortable presence or the difficult one, because they understand that true power rarely comes wrapped in smiles. It's earned through shifting the narrative, changing who holds the cards, and rewriting the rules, all while appearing calm and composed. When a Sigma female enters, the game changes, whether anyone notices immediately or not. The power grid is no longer the same, and that's exactly the point. Number 10. They build systems that outlive their own identity. Sigma females understand that true power isn't about personal glory or name recognition. They don't need their names etched in headlines or history books to know they've succeeded. Instead, they focus on building systems so strong and so smart that their impact persists long after they step away, or even after their names are forgotten. They aren't in the business of chasing fame or fleeting recognition. Fame is fragile, tied to ego and timing. Systems, on the other hand, are durable. They're designed to function independently, to keep working and evolving even when the creator is no longer present. This kind of legacy isn't about being remembered. It's about being relied upon. A Sigma female crafts blueprints, whether it's in business, relationships, communities, or ideas, that become the backbone others depend on. These frameworks aren't flashy or designed to grab attention. They're quietly powerful. The people who come after her might not even know who laid the foundation, but they can't ignore the stability, efficiency, or progress the system brings. This mindset frees Sigma females from the need for validation. They don't require applause or followers. Their reward is in knowing that their work sustains growth and change well beyond their own involvement. They design with the future in mind, anticipating challenges and opportunities that others miss. In a culture obsessed with personal branding and self-promotion, Sigma females choose a different path. They build legacies through structures, not stories. Their influence is woven into the fabric of systems that outlive them, shaping lives and landscapes in ways that no name on a plaque could capture. Ultimately, their greatest power lies in invisibility, because while the world forgets names, it rarely forgets function. Number 11. They don't want followers. They want independents who lead. Sigma females aren't interested in building armies of followers who hang on their every word or seek constant approval. That kind of admiration feels shallow and exhausting to them. Instead, they aim to cultivate independence, to inspire others to become leaders in their own right, rather than dependent on someone else's direction. They don't want people who mirror them or copy their moves. They want individuals who think for themselves, challenge norms, and carve out their own paths. To a Sigma female, true influence isn't about control or popularity. It's about igniting fire in others so they can walk confidently without her guiding every step. This makes their impact deeper and more sustainable. When she leads, she's not creating followers. She's creating ecosystems of leadership where everyone has agency. She respects autonomy so much that she steps back, knowing her role isn't to manage, but to empower. That's why people drawn to Sigma females often end up transforming themselves, not just admiring from afar. Because she models strength without dependency, vision without manipulation, and power without domination. In a world obsessed with likes and followers, Sigma females flip the script. They don't want fans. They want co-leaders. Number 12. They study power, not popularity metrics. Sigma females couldn't care less about likes, followers, or viral moments. Those popularity metrics are distractions, shiny objects that appeal to the crowd but don't build real, lasting influence. Instead, Sigma females dive deep into the study of power itself. They obsess over strategy, psychology, history, war tactics, and complex systems, because they understand that legacy is crafted through intellect, not applause. While the masses scroll through social media for validation, Sigma females are dissecting the mechanics behind influence. How ideas spread, how leaders rise, and how structures bend or break. They aren't interested in fleeting popularity contests. They want to master the game at a level most don't even realize exists. This intellectual hunger sets them apart. They don't just react to the world, they anticipate its moves. They read the undercurrents, spot patterns, and understand the silent rules that govern power dynamics. They know that popularity can be manipulated, but genuine influence requires deep knowledge and strategic patience. Sigma females use this knowledge to quietly position themselves where it matters most, often behind the scenes, engineering outcomes while others chase surface-level approval. Their power grows not from the noise they create, but from the insight they accumulate. Ultimately, they understand that being celebrated today means nothing if you don't control the levers that shape tomorrow. And that's why Sigma females invest their time mastering the real metrics of success. Not likes, but leverage, not followers, but footholds, not applause, but authority. In a world obsessed with fleeting popularity, surface-level connections, and the relentless pursuit of approval, Sigma females stand as a powerful anomaly, not because they seek attention, but because they command respect through quiet authority and unshakable authenticity. Their strength lies not in conforming to societal expectations or gaining instant validation, but in forging legacies that defy time, trends, and shallow recognition. They move through life like architects, carefully designing systems, influence, and impact that outlast their presence, proving that true power is not performative but profound. Sigma females embody a rare kind of leadership, one that values independence over dependence, substance over spectacle, and depth over distraction. They refuse to be boxed in by any circle, even the most elite, choosing sovereignty over silence. Their evolution happens in the shadows, away from the noisy applause of the crowd, allowing them to resurface transformed ahead of the curve and impossible to ignore. They play the long game with patience and precision, understanding that real influence isn't measured in likes or followers, but in irreversible impact. Ultimately, Sigma females challenge the very definitions of success and legacy. They don't want to be remembered as fleeting figures in someone else's story. They want to be the unforgettable forces that reshape narratives, shift power dynamics, and inspire generations to lead with courage and independence. Their journey isn't about fitting in or standing out. It's about creating a new framework altogether, one where authenticity and vision reign supreme. To recognize and appreciate Sigma females is to understand that legacy isn't built on popularity, but on the courage to be unapologetically oneself, the wisdom to build beyond the moment, and the strength to lead without followers, only co-leaders. They are the quiet revolutionaries, the sovereign outsiders, and the timeless builders whose influence will echo long after the spotlight fades. In embracing their unique path, Sigma females teach us that the truest form of power comes not from being seen, but from being unforgettable. If you found these insights on Sigma females as fascinating and empowering as I do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss content that challenges the ordinary and celebrates the extraordinary. Give this video a like if it resonated with you, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your experiences and perspectives. And if you know someone who needs to hear this truth about legacy over popularity, share this video with them. Together, let's build a community that values depth, independence, and lasting impact. Your support means everything. Thank you for being part of this journey.